Blessed with a championship prosperity, the likes of which we have never seen. Cursed by a past riddled with despair, this is Blurst.
He
Oh,
said
what
no.
the French toast?
We are X-rated today.
Heard
Whoa.
that.
All right.
Heard that.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Blurst, everyone. We are a bit downtrodden today from this past weekend, and you already know why. But first, welcome back, all you listeners out there that have been here before. But we may have a little bit of a wave of new listeners today. So if you're a first-time listener, welcome to Blurst. We are happy you found us on your podcasting app, and we are also on YouTube's. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. We are here, as always, to discuss both the blessed and the cursed of all Atlanta sports. Unfortunately, this weekend was a little more cursed than usual. I am joined by my married friend, Bleezy Blake, and my friend that I ask all my produce-related questions to,
Yes.
Kais. How you feeling, guys?
Hey, what's up? Hello.
What's up? What's up, boys?
Ooh.
Yeah, not feeling too hot this weekend. But hey, there are some bright points out there. UGA looks strong. What was it? Alabama lost. That's enough to brighten anybody's weekend.
Ooh.
Isn't it strange how when your rivals lose, it can almost feel as good as your team winning? Like
Oh,
that's kind of how I felt with the Braves losing. It was awful in the moment, but then the Dodgers lose right afterwards. And you're like, you know what?
It
It's
made
all
it-
okay.
made it
Yeah,
feel a lot better.
It'll all
really
be
did.
okay. Yeah,
I
they're
mean-
like a historically good team, and they get eliminated at the same time as we. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
well, we still beat the Mets this year.
We saved a lot of Mets fans from a long postseason or a long off season of misery by giving
Yeah.
them a little bit of joy in our early exit from the playoffs.
And the funny part is, I feel like Phillies fans are gonna be filled with joy over this, but no one cares. Like,
Yeah.
I don't. At least I don't. Like, it doesn't hit the same as if the Mets were to won or if like the Dodgers would have won. To me,
I gotta say, a lot of them have been popping in our comments on TikTok, which I was not prepared for.
Yeah, I
good
saw
hate,
that.
man.
Not really. The shit talk's not really for me. Oh, you know what? Speaking of the S word, as you may know, we have been trying to watch our language a little bit more on this show and make it friendly for you guys while you're listening in the car with your children and whatnot. This will not be possible this week because of what has happened. So we are airing out all our grievances in the form of curse words. And so you have 5 seconds to put in some headphones or turn off the podcast and listen to it later. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fuck!
French
Fuck!
toast.
All right, I'm gonna have to edit out that volume a little bit. So I feel like I'm doing a lot of talking here. I'm trying to get some new stuff going, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Real-
man. Wait, did we want to do the blurst of the week to start off?
So yeah, we're doing a twist on the blurst of the week here. So to begin every episode now, we're gonna start with a blursening segment, and that is each of us is going to choose a blurst moment from the week of Atlanta sports, and then we're gonna vote on which one's the best, and that's where we're gonna start talking for the week. So who wants to get us started with the first blursening segment?
I can jump in there real quick.
Ooh,
All right.
let me hear it.
All right, so and Blake, this one might surprise you, especially given how we've talked in the past about this. So,
I love surprises.
yeah, I've got a Falcons related blursening.
Want to
So-
be the same as mine?
I really hope it's not, but we didn't talk about it beforehand, so it might be. But mine would be a disguised blursening. One that just occurred a few hours ago, and that we will of course get much deeper into, but that is the Falcons upset over the 49ers. And my
Ooh.
blursening that happened within that is how well Marcus Mariota played. Okay, he played the best he's played in a Falcons uniform. All right. It shows what this team can possibly do when we get some competent quarterback play. But we all know he's not the answer long term, regardless of how today went down. So my blurst is, does this in a bad way prolong us getting the better quarterback Ritter out there, especially if things maybe don't go as well in the second half of the season? Is today maybe like pushing him back when we maybe shouldn't?
Yeah, maybe
And-
maybe we should talk about this next time because that was my blurs too as
Oh,
well. The
hell
same exact
yeah.
topic,
Nope.
which is a good thing though. I like this. I like
No.
that our
Here.
brains went the same exact way on this.
Blake, you brainstorm for a second, and I can rattle mine off here.
No. Wait, why can't I just build off of what he said? Do I have to have another one?
You should.
I feel like
mean-
if two of us pick the same one with like a blind draw,
I mean,
that,
I
that's
guess
just,
that would be
that's
the
just-
vote.
it
I'm
means it's
afraid
the
that might be
best
too
one.
obvious. Real quick, can you guys hear my dogs faintly?
Nope.
I can't.
Oh hell yes. Okay, good. Won't
Your
have to
feet
edit
hurting?
that later either. They're barking.
Ew.
All right. So
Wait, I have
my-
to come up with a new one?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Basically, we know what the vote's going to be, but I'll go ahead and do mine too. We already screwed up the first ever Blur City.
Wait, I
time.
don't even get to talk about it?
No.
No, you just get played and skip.
What the
Shut
heck?
up.
You're about to get muted by the admin here.
Yeah.
My Blur City was, of course, the Braves lost to the Phillies in the NLDS, but the blessed side of that is we don't have to live in constant anxiety of playoff baseball for like 2 to 3 more weeks. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Copium.
yeah,
Copium.
it's a tedious couple of weeks as you're going through this playoffs, and yeah, at least we got the worst of it out of the way. So
We did.
rip
sadly.
that Band-Aid off real quick, a little
Yep.
too quick. All right, so I guess yeah,
Well, I feel like there's. Yeah, never mind. No, it is blurs, but I feel like there's a lot of blessings from the season we can talk about and glean into once we get into the Braves talk. It's not all bad. Like it was a good season.
No, it's certainly not all bad.
Yeah,
It
I
just
know it's just
feels
deflating.
bad.
It feels bad. It feels like the Kirby Smart's first time he got us to the championship, and we're up against Alabama, and then the Tua comes in and they come back and beat us. That season, like the Dogs should have never been like in the consideration to win that game. And we had a great season, and I feel like afterwards everyone was deflated, of course, which makes sense. But also, like if you look back at the season, like wow, this was like an extraordinary season. It's kind of what started the whole upward trajectory for the Dogs and where we're at now. So I don't know. I feel like the Braves could be looked at the same way this year. Like we accomplished so much after starting so poorly.
I think I don't know. Hopefully, we don't know what it will be like from a UGA fan perspective.
Yeah.
Though I feel like it would be.
No,
us.
we're on the other side of that now. We're on the upper trend of it because we've won a
Yeah, I know.
championship since then. Yeah.
Yeah, we won a championship this past year with UGA, and we won the World Series last year. So now the equivalent, I think, would be like UGA losing in the SEC championship and not making the playoff.
Oh, I see. I wasn't talking about that. I was just kind of draw a parallel to like not the fact that the Braves overachieved this year because I don't think we did, but we did some extraordinary things to get to where we were, like with the run we had to like finish first place.
Oh yeah.
Where the same way that the Dogs that year we went with Jake Fromm, like it was just a crazy run to get there. Like that team shouldn't probably on paper been where they were to end the year.
Yeah, maybe if we had a NFL caliber quarterback that year, we would
Yeah.
have done something.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we did.
Yeah,
knows?
which did we?
What could have happened?
All right, so what's we really screwed up this first fucking segment.
No, it's
here.
fine, man. I
What are we?
think,
What are we going to talk about first? We usually
I think
discuss
we
this
should
before
go-
the podcast starts, but we're already in
I think we
there.
should go.
Well, no, I think
Braves.
we. Well, no. I wait. I thought the whole point was we go with what the Blurs.
Yeah, but I'm voting Braves now because it's
Because
I-
you want to talk about Braves first. Okay,
we're
folks, we're going to have to workshop this one.
It's okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's keep going about the Braves. Yeah, it kind of just felt like the whole series was off from game one. Even our victory in game two, our only victory of the playoffs this year, unfortunately, it was hard fought. Like it didn't feel like we were going to win that game. A lot of the game, it was close the entire time, and like we just never pulled away. In ways we've seen this team do 101 times earlier this year.
I thought it was odd that you said like, or not odd, but like it ironic that you said we'd win, loss, win to win the series, and then we lost one, lost. So like Phillies did exactly what you said we needed to do to win it. Which stinks, but like I don't know, it's weird to watch the Phillies, also the Padres, and even the Yankees got bounced too by teams that were lower seeds who played the week before. So I don't know. It's just it's
well,
interesting
the Yankees
this year.
are playing today. They're down.
Oh, that's right. They might
2-1.
not be eliminated. Yeah.
So
It
that's
could
yet to be determined. But they're all antsy about it. I know that. Which rightfully so after seeing what's happened to all the best teams in baseball this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people are pulling into question the new playoff format and having the extra wild card round. Did it have something to do with the time layoff that our guys had to deal with? I'm not buying into it 100%. The Astros
Yeah.
found a way to sweep the Mariners. They did have their trouble with it. They played
They had an excellent
really
comeback
close
that first
games.
game. Yeah.
Big comeback the first game, and then they went like 15 innings or something like that last
Tied
night.
at 0.
Yeah,
Oh,
crazy. Yeah, just crazy.
Gotta love
Insane.
baseball.
And I think what's important to look at why if you're just looking at the Braves and why we lost, it's two very obvious things is that your stud pitchers didn't show up when you needed them to, and then your hitting was flat when you needed to not be. Timely hitting.
It was a comedy of errors, really.
Yeah.
It's a bit tragic for how well we played from June 1st on, and how we battled back into the division race and how we took the division, which ultimately doesn't matter if you make the playoffs. People forget that. But, everything lined up well for us. We definitely had the clear advantage in every aspect of the game coming into the series. And then Max Fried gets hit around, and then it comes out that he's been dealing with either the flu or COVID since his last start.
Yeah.
So he obviously was not himself yet. Not to make excuses for him, but we know that the training staff has come out and said that. Kyle Wright was probably one of the main highlights of the series. So he came out and he shoved in game 2, and he basically won the game for us. And then, obviously, I thought it was a great idea. And I don't think there's mismanagement by Snit either.
Nope.
People turn to the manager. Sometimes you just get outplayed. And, I think pitching Strider was the right decision. He's come back from the oblique injury. Obliques can be tricky. I think maybe Strider, maybe he wasn't 100%, and maybe he wasn't completely upfront with the training staff because he wanted to pitch. And, we weren't going to win the series without Strider regardless.
Right.
So, if you hope he goes 3 or 4 innings or gets out of it with only giving up a couple runs there. But beginning top of bottom of the 3rd inning, his velocity on his fastball is down 2 miles per hour already. So he was topping out at 96 when he's usually 98, 99. And then by the time he gave up that Rhys Hoskins home run, it was down to 93, that was his lowest velocity on his fastball. So all season long. You hope that he didn't tweak it or hurt it again. You hope it's more of a stamina thing, but from what we've seen, I would guess that he probably re-injured it.
Yeah. Well, it's good that he have an offseason now to heal. But the worst part about for me watching it was we just couldn't get hit. We couldn't score first. We in any of the games, and the only time we did score first, we did win that game, but we could not score first. And Charlie Morin, I felt bad for him because he had that comebacker that hit him in the elbow, and if he could just got out of that inning early, he had some unlucky balls go certain ways, which really hurt his outing because he was looking actually pretty sharp, I thought, up until that 3-run bomb.
I agree. And that's probably the last comedy.
Charlie Morton, that's what he's done all year.
That's 2 years in a row now that Charlie's been bounced from games early from being hit on a comebacker, and that doesn't happen all year long, and then it happens in the playoffs again. It's unlucky. I guess it was affecting him more than he wanted it to, and Snit made that call early, and you can't disagree with that either. Do you guys have any hangups on anything that Snit decided?
Here's my question. If you say you don't start Strider at game 3 and you go with Charlie Morton, what does that get you instead? Do you think Charlie Morton goes out there and could win game 3? Does that give you a chance, or? He's
capable, but the way that we were hitting, it wasn't going to make a difference. Charlie could have gone out there 5 or 6 innings, shut out baseball, and we still would have lost probably just because nobody's hitting. Matt Olson, Travis d'Arnaud, and Acuna were the highlights offensively. Arcia had a home run there in the last game, and I was pretty proud of him. I thought he had a
played
really
well.
Good series.
Yeah, I thought he did too.
He probably should have played game 3 as well instead of Vaughn Grissom. Vaughn looked pretty lost out there, right with Ozuna, which
we're cutting
Vaughn's
right?
a rookie, so Ozuna is a 10-year vet, so I expect better at bats from him. But I don't know. It's unfortunate.
No, it is unfortunate. I don't know. I think it shows you too that last year the Braves we struck magic, and then we had a magic run and we won the championship. And it shows you you can be a great team, even the Dodgers, a fantastic team, historically good team, and still just baseball comes down to who shows up that day, who plays the West is best, and especially mental game. Like baseball is so much more of a mental game than like the NFL or even basketball, because typically, especially in the NBA, like in a 7-game series, the best team will win that series more times than not. But in baseball, you can just be hot, kind of like in the NFL. You be hot, and you have a couple pitchers that get hot at the right time, and a couple batters get hot at the right time, and you have that stretch where you can't miss.
No, I think you're 100% right.
Kind of where the Phillies looked like.
We say that all the time, and we say that about our run last year. We got hot at the right time. We won less games in the regular season last year than the Phillies did this year.
Yeah,
we were just in a weak division.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it feels like we ran into the wrong team at the wrong time. In a sport where if you're successful a third of the time, or like even less than that, if you're successful 2 out of 10 times, you're good.
Yeah.
If you get hot at the right time, and then that turns into 4 out of 10, and then the lineup starts clicking, and people get confidence, and then they start believing it, and then they won game 1, took it back to their home ballpark where they hadn't had a playoff game in 11 years or something.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah, they're ready for it.
Yeah. Everybody's fully bought in at that point, and so it feels like we ran into the wrong team at the wrong time, and we'll see what happens with the rest of their run. Obviously, we hope that the Phillies lose.
Yes. I was gonna bring that up. Like, I want Juan Soto and the Padres to beat them so bad for a couple of reasons. One, F Bryce Harper. F that guy. Like, I don't want him to win. And I want Juan Soto, who won in Washington after Bryce left, to win somewhere else and beat Bryce, because I just feel like they have a kind of a rivalry thing just based on the nature of that him leaving the Nationals right when Juan got there. And so no. F Bryce Harper, F the Phillies. I want them to lose.
I mean, I don't know. I like Bryce Harper, actually. Like, I think he has such a like sexy swing. Like, it's like somebody that really likes to get into the analysis of it.
He really likes to get into it.
The way,
with that sexy swing.
The way that he generates power is unreal. He was kind of like one of the first ones to like really like do the high leg kick. Not the first, but like the way he like contorts his body and then like really like unscrews or unravels really quickly.
Yeah.
Because he's not a huge guy. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
No, I mean,
he's had a really good career. He's a good
player.
I
would like him if he played for the Braves. He just has always played for our rivals. So
I understand that 100%. And like they have likable guys on the team though. Like I like Kyle Schwarber.
I like Nick. What's his name? Castellanos. I like him too.
Yeah,
he's likable. And dude, that's the thing. Like Phillies went out and got Thor at the trade deadline. Did they get Nick at the trade deadline as well?
No, they picked him up last offseason.
So he just started getting hot though near at the end of the year, especially against us in this playoff series. But like they went and got big guys in the free agency where the Braves didn't do besides Kinley this last year. You know what I mean? So like they went out and got upgrades. I think they upgraded a little bit more than us at the trade deadline, kind of. Because Thor can pitch from the bullpen or come out and start a game. So
I disagree. I mean, we made our upgrades. They just didn't pan out how we wanted them to this year. I mean, but like we had a chance, right? I mean, we picked up Iglesias, who was unreal. Like he ran into some trouble this last game too, but like it felt like, I mean, I think we were already down like 3 or 4
We were already
runs.
down, yeah.
So I'm not going to hold that against them. It just wasn't meant to be this year, which isn't fun to say. It won't be every year. But looking forward, there's no reason. Like, I think we'll compete for the next 10 years based on the contracts. We locked up Strider. Mm-hmm. We have our core together. The big question mark is Dansby, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But like, this year is definitely disappointing. I think we all had said that like if we didn't make the NLCS, then that's a disappointing year.
Yeah.
And
I stand by that.
Yeah, I think we're all disappointed. We're not saying like that you should that Snit should be fired, because that's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
It is very hard to find a decent manager in Major League Baseball. Take a look over at who the Dodgers have in their dugout. But yeah, so I mean that's kind of my 2 cents. What do you guys think?
No, I completely agree, and I think when you look at the season as a whole, I would call a lot of things a success. The fact you came back, won the division for that 5th straight time, like you're setting that precedent of winning the division, like you're keeping that going. You're saying like this is where we expect us to be every year, and now they were going to want to build off of this postseason. And obviously, like we had some injuries come near the end of the year, which didn't help. And I think you're going to see a better team next year. I don't know if we win as many games next year because baseball is baseball, but I think you're going to have a more complete team next year from top to bottom, just with the people we're getting back. And I mean, the big question mark, though, like you said, is the Dansby. But
yeah,
besides that, I feel really hopeful for the next year and the next 5 years and the next 10 years. Like, yeah, like you said,
we should 100% be competing. I mean, like even stuff we didn't expect coming in this year, we have basically 2 co-rookie of the years, which is insane out of nowhere.
Yeah, and they're only going to get better, right?
Yeah, and we have both of those guys locked up for the next like 8 years or something like that. So like, you know, you expect them to improve, and like hopefully maintain their career progression. But to me, we have the Dansby issue. He's a free agent now. We got to figure that out. Left field is still a problem. We have Eddie Rosario under contract. We have Ozuna under contract, and both of those guys have not worked out, although Eddie at least is being a good person. But we'll leave that aside. But yeah, so there's a question in left field, shortstop, and then probably one more starter. And then obviously they'll pick up a couple of relief pitchers here in the offseason too, especially since Matzik had Tommy John, unfortunately. We'll get Luke tough. Jackson back. Kinley's gone. So that's kind of where we're at. What do you guys think about Dansby right now? Give me a percentage of what you think he'll be back or not.
That one's it's like now. I know we talked about this back a while ago when we first started Blurs, but it was like I think I remember saying that I felt like it seems like Dansby like that he isn't going to re-sign, and that makes me think it is that he will, because of the fact that it felt like to me Freddie was 100% going to re-sign and then he didn't.
Yeah.
But I'll say now, my take is that it's 50-50. I could not tell you one way or the other whether I think he's going to actually resign or re-sign or go elsewhere. Part of me though has already resigned myself to just getting another shortstop, to it not being Dansby next year.
Well, you don't want to be hurt again.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
you don't want to be hurt
I get that. I think because we lost, and this might not have anything to do with it, but I actually think because we lost, he's actually more likely to come back. And I think there's for a couple of reasons. I think one, he might feel like he has unfinished business because last year was Freddie's team. Like that was Freddie's team who got us there. Yeah, he was the leader this year. We fell short, and he fell short. Like he did fall short at the end of the season. He was great all season long. I don't want to discredit what he did because he had a great season, and like that's why I want him back. Like he made me a believer in Dansby. Like before the season started, I didn't care to re-sign him. We talked about it in the beginning of Blurs. Like I was on the fence. Yeah. But because of the season he had and the leadership he showed, not only on the field but off the field, like I want him to come back. And I think it was you, Hayden, who sent that post about if the Braves take that $22 million a year. Like if Dansby's willing to take $22 million a year, I'm more than happy to give him $22 million a year. But that's a discount. I know it is. Like it is a discount because he's going to get offered more from somewhere else. But I think there's a chance he takes it. And I think there's a chance too that the Braves go beyond the $22 million for Dansby. But we'll see.
I'll be honest, you gave me chills there for a second when you said this was Dansby's team, because I think you hit the nail on the head there. This was his team, and the way that the players talk about Dansby, like nothing against Freddie, but it is completely different. So like the older guys, Charlie Morton was tearing up talking about Dansby after the game yesterday, all the way down to like Ronnie, like talking about how Dansby felt like an older brother, as we know, like Ronnie will kind of just say how he feels about teammates at times.
Good point.
But I felt like that has an impact too, and he is a good leader, and I think AA wants to get him back. The question is, at what point are we going to go from a team that only gets discounted deals and signs players young, and like there's going to be a point in time where we transition to big spender with the amount of success that we've had?
You have to.
I think
that next level.
So the question is it now with Dansby, or are we not there yet?
Question. In baseball, do you think you can convince players to take a little bit of discount if like say, hey, we'll give you this so we can use this extra money to get Judge? Like, do you think Dansby, like, do you think like they do that kind of stuff? Like, or no, not at all. I just, because in basketball, that's a thing. But there's a salary cap in basketball. So like, and same in football, that's a thing. Like Tom Brady's taking discounts in order to get like different players. Like,
I don't know. I just feel like in baseball, there's so many more variables, especially with NBA. Because like in the NBA, if you bring in one player, or like you can use the Miami Heat, like back when LeBron signed with them, because that's how like Chris Bosh came to, and like Dwayne Wade basically recruited him, right? So like those three players can make an impact like that, which they'll make it.
God, yeah.
Like I mean, they went to like what 3 or 4
They went to 4
consecutive finals
championships
or
and
something.
won 2 of them. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Big fail there.
You can't do that in baseball, and like even if you do that in baseball, then you can run into a hot team in the playoffs again and lose.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Dodgers. That's what the Dodgers are.
That's what the Dodgers are.
So
exactly.
The Dodgers are the Miami Heat.
There's no guaranteed success. Like even if you have the best talent, the best player in baseball is probably Mike Trout or Shohei Ohtani, who are both on the same team. And Mike Trout has like 1 career playoff game or something like that,
It's
which
crazy.
is insane. So I don't think that would have an impact. Now there are discounts. Like Chipper Jones used to take discounts to stay with the Braves because he understood like the strength of the fan base and stuff like that. And so there's variables like that.
And Dansby's the face. Dansby, like whether you like it or not, he's the face of Atlanta. Like at least in Atlanta. Like I know outwards, I think Acuna is, but in Atlanta, for a lot of people, like it's Dansby Swanson, and so I feel like, and he is also his hometown, so I feel like he has more to lose to leave than he does to stay, except for extra money. Like that's what it comes down to.
See, that's the thing though. Like I don't know. I'm from Georgia too, which I love Georgia. Don't get me wrong, but like. I don't know. Dansby's a year younger than we are, or me and Aaron.
But he's got you about like, 20 years or something.
You know,
he's
been in Georgia most of his life. Maybe he thinks the same thing as me, and he's like, all right, let's give something else a try, especially if, I don't know, a decent team comes down the line. It's like, all right, yeah, we'll offer you $20 million more a year.
Right.
Or like, I don't know, something stupid like that. Or like 10
we offer you $40 million a year.
Okay, that was too much. But like the Dodgers realistically could offer him, if we were at 22 mil, they could offer him $8 to $10 million more than us per year.
Wait. How mad are you going to be next year?
He's a Dodger.
Opening season, Freddie Freeman and Dansby are Dodgers.
I'll be okay with it depending on what we do. So what are our alternatives here? People are talking about Vaughn Grissom.
I will not be happy about that. No.
The only thing that I've heard is
unless we got Aaron Judge. Like
the only thing I've heard about that is that his defense isn't ready, and that's the most important thing with shortstop. We can stick somebody at the bottom of the order. RC is better defensively than Vaughn. Yeah. And then we saw Vaughn's bat fall off at the end of the year too. That's why he wasn't playing as much.
Yeah.
So I don't really think that's a realistic option. He honestly may even be down in the minors to start the year next year.
Probably.
There's nothing wrong with that. He's
he needs playing time. He needs playing time.
21 years old or whatever, and that's what he's got to work through it too. And
now we need Albies back too. Like it's not gonna have an Albies.
I think that made a bigger impact.
It does
than people think. Because he is such a leader. Like he and Dansby together, like
they're the leaders.
Yeah,
and they're right next to each other in the infield.
Like, he lightens the mood in a way that's still productive for the team too. He's not just a hard ass, but like he's somebody that the guys respect, and he's a good player. So we definitely missed him. But yeah, so I wish we could slot him in at shortstop. He actually came up as a shortstop, but I don't really. He's kind of slotted in at second now.
I just think this: if we lose Dansby, especially if we lose Dansby to the Dodgers, you're going to lose some of our clubhouse. Like you're going to lose some guys' faith in. I don't know, maybe not because you've just inked all these people to like long-term deals, but it shows you after your first deal's up, then maybe they don't want you anymore or something. I don't know. It's scary to me.
Right now, I'd give it 60% he's going to stay. If you had asked me, I think I would have said about Freddie last year, I probably would have said 50-50. The thing that's going for us is that there's not a lockout after this season.
Yeah,
that
helps.
That like expedited the process once the agreement was come up with MLB PA and the MLB. It was a very shortened time span, and those decisions and miscommunications were all in such a narrow window of time, and that's what kind of led to some of the Freddie Freeman stuff that still gets talked about today. But because we have extra time, hopefully we can work through that. But with the other free agents, Carlos Correa said that he was going to be returning to free agency because he had a player option, so he thinks he can get.
Hasn't he been injury prone?
I mean, up and down. no more so than anybody else, but he's probably the most talented.
More so than
shortstop.
Dansby?
Well, okay. Dansby's he's been injury prone in the past. He's been good the last 2 years, but you just never know. You can catch a fastball up and in, hit you in the jaw, and you're out the entire year. Or or it can hit, or like you can jam your pinky into second base like Ozzy did, and you're out another month or 3 months. So, I mean,
availability is the best ability.
Yes, it's fair. But anyways, Dansby is probably the cheapest of like the legit top tier shortstops that are free agents this year. So we got Xander Bogaerts, and then Trey Turner are all
I wouldn't
top tier.
mind having Xander Bogaerts though, or Trey Turner. No. Well, actually, I think I would rather have Dansby than Trey Turner though.
So if you're looking at the cheapest of those options, it's Dansby. And like, is the drop off between those players enough to where you wouldn't where you would want to pay up even to get one of those players in? My philosophy is that he's in place. He's a team leader. Let's keep him because he's going to be cheaper than Trey Turner is anyways. Mm-hmm. Even though Trey Turner is probably the better player. But that's where I land. We'll see how it unfolds. Hopefully it doesn't take too long to get this worked out. But
the only thing that scares me about that is like, and we kind of touched on this earlier in the year too, is like, what if this was the outlier year for Dansby's career? What if he doesn't keep this going?
No, that's completely
and what
fair.
if he regresses back to what he was, which is like not bad. He certainly wasn't a bad player, but not what we'd be giving that money to. Yeah, and that just kind of slightly scares me too. It feels like Bogaerts would be more of the known commodity.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Each of those players that we listed that are in free agency, they've all had more consistent careers than Dansby. Yeah. That's an excellent point. And like, maybe this was an outlier year. Maybe he didn't progress. Actually, maybe he got hot and he sustained it.
Yeah,
it's hard to say. But one thing, like, if you play good defense, you play good defense. Like, that's typically not going to go in a slump.
Right.
So, and we did see some great defense out of Dansby during the series. So, even though he wasn't hitting, but yeah. So, at least you'd have strong shortstop defense.
Yeah. What scares me is like you said, his lifetime average is 255. Mm-hmm. His average this year is 277. I think. Yeah, 277. 277 is what we want to be paying for. Like, I don't want to give him that. Like, I don't know. I feel like is 22 million too much for a guy who's on average 255 batting average? Dansby doesn't walk too much, does he?
He's pretty aggressive. No, he's trying. Yeah,
he's pretty aggressive.
Yeah, I mean,
he had 49 walks this year and 182 strikeouts.
What was his on base percentage? Do you have that there?
I don't. I can find it right here.
I mean,
I got you.
Yeah.
It was that the OBP. Yeah, it was 329.
So, although like we have to say the inconsistency, like the lower numbers for like on base percentage and stuff like that is why he will not be as expensive as some of these other guys. So, could we get a better player in than Dansby to play shortstop? Yes.
Yeah.
Could we get him for that same price? No.
I think because the season didn't end at the halfway point, I think Dansby will make less than what he originally was like getting upwards to. Like, if you stop the season at the halfway point, Dansby was looking at like probably 30 million. But I don't know. I don't see a team offering him more than maybe 27. But I could be surprised. But
you don't know. Like, some of these teams come out of the woodworks. So Corey Seager and Marcus Semien, those were like two of the top free agent shortstops last year. They both signed with the Rangers because the Rangers haven't been good in a long time. They had been stockpiling
they
money.
They both signed with the Rangers.
They both signed like record deals.
That's
so
hilarious.
Like you never know. Like, a team could come out of the woodworks. Like, maybe I'm trying to think of who hasn't been good in a while. The Twins need a shortstop. And they probably have money to spend.
You think Dansby's going to Minnesota?
If the money's right, man, it can make you go anywhere probably. But
fair enough.
We'll see how it plays out, and we'll keep you guys updated on what our thoughts are. Hopefully Dansby's back. If he's not, then we are going to have to spend up to keep pace with some of these other teams. That's my opinion, at least. Or maybe we go get Aaron Judge, because that would be awesome.
Pretty sick. Maybe a little DeGrom Judge combo. I don't know.
Yeah, let's just spend 70 million on two players.
Well, you guys, Judge has been struggling in the postseason some, and he's had some strikeouts and stuff. He was getting booed I don't care how many times.
Really?
What?
They booed him.
Atlanta fans would
booed.
never disrespect a player like that
That's
after he
hilarious
goes
to me.
Yeah. Oh, question about Judge too. Now we brought him up. How do y'all feel about people celebrating his 62 homers like that was the record?
I hate it. You
Really?
would think
I like
you
it.
said,
I actually like it
too.
but you said it in there is like it was celebrate like I got ESPN notifications. They would interrupt broadcasts to bring you to that. It's like, bro, it was a team record and an American League record. Whoop-de-doo. Cool.
What kills me about it though is like the baseball's just got to figure out their record book. Like you got to either not count all these people that did PEDs, or you got to count them all, because like we're having things like this. Because like part of me feels conflicted. Part of me is like, well, Aaron Judge, like he's on PEDs and no one else has done what he's done.
Yeah, I saw like one of my favorite memes of it was like you know that meme of like it's like a podium and it's a dude like going crazy and he's like holding up the medal and he's biting it, and then it zooms out and he's in third place.
Yeah.
And it was that. It was like Aaron Judge. It was that. But when it zoomed out, he was like in 13th place or whatever it is.
A home run.
He's not even like in the top 10 of most home runs in a season, depending on what you look at.
It just shows you how tainted
the 12th or something.
PED arrow is in baseball.
Yeah.
I did. The PED era to me is like, oh man, wow.
Everyone was doing it though. So
not only was everyone doing it, but like it's like, oh my goodness, they made the game more exciting. How dare they? Darn. But then also you got to look at it as one valid point I thought I did see was I saw two other fans arguing about somebody in the National League that had more, some legendary player, and they were like, okay, I wonder like how many of those nope, I'm getting my stat mixed up. You know what? I'm going to cut bait on that one. That's not the stat I wanted.
Well, let me jump in here because I actually am in the camp that I don't believe that everybody in that era was on steroids, because you have guys.
Fair.
I mean, you look at Barry Bonds, like body progression through his career and it's outrageous. Like it's obvious. Same thing with the Mark McGwire.
That's fair.
Same thing with Sammy Sosa. And like guys do get bigger as they get older, but like let's be real. But
like Panda, they get
wired. But there are great players from that era that were still really good. So guys like Jim Thome, Chipper Jones is another one.
Fair.
Right.
Ken Griffey Jr. I don't think any of those guys took steroids, and like you can see it in like they had injury seasons.
Yeah. They did.
The reasons that they had those injury seasons is probably because they weren't on steroids. If they were on steroids, they probably would have been back earlier, and they would have had higher stats and stuff like that too.
I agree with you there, but I think there's also the argument that people don't think about, which is that think about how many players took as many steroids as Barry Bonds, and we have no idea who they are.
Right.
Like it's not the simple act of taking steroids didn't make Barry Bonds. You know what I mean? Like, there were plenty of my point is there are plenty of dudes that never made it to the majors that were juicing up just as much, career minor leaguers.
Right. Yeah. But
I don't blame them either.
Still to the point though is
I get it. I get using steroids 100%.
Barry Bonds
if that's
already
the difference between me making it and me not making it, I take that risk.
I take that risk. And again, they made the game more exciting. I don't.
But the difference is like Barry Bonds before steroids and Barry Bonds after steroids is like Barry Bonds was a good player. Barry Bonds is a historically great player. Like I don't know, like you know what I mean? Like he maybe would be considered a historically great player regardless, but like you'll never know.
I think the Judge accomplishment is something that it should have gotten a lot of attention. Maybe it got a little bit blown up.
Made too much.
Yeah.
A little too much.
But, I mean, he's not using. He's a huge, monstrous guy playing in, like, the smallest stadium.
Yeah, so he's a man in the kid's house.
Let's say what it is. I would love to see him in Truist for 81 games next year. But... yeah, probably not going to happen. No, but you can dream.
As long as he doesn't land with the Mets, because I keep hearing.
Well, yeah, Cohen's strategy is just to throw money at his problems. So
yes,
it's not like, hey, let's make sure everybody stays that was on the team this year. It's like, okay, yeah, let's bring in more people.
Money.
All right, you didn't work. Here you go.
Yeah. Money. How would you guys feel if, let's say, Judge did sign with the Mets, but we signed DeGrom? Would you take that trade?
No.
You wouldn't? You would rather them keep DeGrom and not have Judge than both happen? Both us get DeGrom and them get Judge?
Yes.
Okay,
we have good pitching already without DeGrom.
I mean, I don't know how I feel.
We
Like,
do,
'cause here's
but think
the
about-
thing: if we can't land Judge, if we're not going to land Judge anyways, if we can't personally land Judge anyways, we can't stop where he goes. So if we get DeGrom, I'm okay with it.
To me, I'm making that trade.
I don't want to face him. No.
I don't think baseball is the type of sport where you get your panties in a wad. Not that that's what you were doing, Hayden, but
he
feels
was.
it feels like that's what you're saying. Yeah. Go ahead.
Over one player, over facing one player. I mean, look at Bryce Harper. First of all, he went from division opponent to division opponent, so it's not like it really changed that much for the Braves. But like, let's say when they got the Phillies also brought in Andrew McCutchen, right? Didn't that happen?
Yeah, a couple years ago.
And that didn't work out, but that was a big deal at the time. And I don't know. To me, it's just like, okay, yeah, they got one player.
You're right. When Mets brought in Cespedes or something like that.
Yeah, that
was a
too.
big deal.
And so it's like, to me, pitching is more valuable in that aspect, especially if you're gonna elongate an already really good rotation with somebody like DeGrom. It's like, okay, well, now instead of 2 days where we're definitely not going to have Aaron Judge get a lot of hits, now here's 3 days, maybe the whole series, where Aaron Judge doesn't get a lot of hits against us.
Yeah,
it's hard to keep that man at bay.
It's true.
Okay, here's what I would like. If the Mets had signed a Judge first, then it's like tit for tat. Then we pick up DeGrom.
Yeah.
But like, hopefully somebody else will swoop in and.
I'd hate to see him re-sign DeGrom and then sign
and
Judge.
then also get Judge.
Okay, now that would be spending a lot of money.
That would be bad.
That would be $70 million on 2 players, probably.
Yeah. But anyway,
hey.
All right, guys, we're about 30 minutes in now, so let's pivot here. What do we want to go to next?
Let's move over to the Falcons.
Yeah, let's go Falcons. We'll finish up with the Dogs.
All right, so guys, up to this point in the season, the 49ers had not given up a touchdown in the first half. The Falcons scored 3.
I'll be honest, just cut you off for a second. The air of like I told you so-ness that is coming out of out of across from Blake's screen. I can feel it. It's radiating off of it.
This is a statement victory, dude.
It is. I'm happy. We're all happy.
You better be happy. I'll be honest. I'm watching the game and my mouth dropped that first drive. I was like, holy shit. We were driving down the field. We scored a touchdown. And everyone's making a big deal about we scored a touchdown. And then we get back-to-back touchdowns. I was like, all right, this is too good to be true. We're going to Falcon this. And we do Falcon it a little bit. We got them back in the game because of some bad penalties. But, man, guys, wow.
That was fun. I mean, it was. I didn't get to watch the whole. Oh, in fact, I didn't watch any of it. I listened to it on the radio at work as much as I could, and then watched the highlights when I got home. But no, that was surprising. That was totally the opposite of what I thought was going to happen. B and C, really, really, really cool to.
Here's a couple of. I'm looking at the box score here, or stat page, or whatever you say in football. The things that stick out to me, we won the rushing battle, 168 yards to 50 yards.
Let's comment about that real quick. They only averaged before this game only giving up 70 yards a game rushing. Wow. They're the number one defense in the league, and we just put up 168. Impressive.
And then
that is cool.
Other stats: 0 fumbles lost, 0 interceptions thrown, and we won the time of possession battle as well. So all those things stick out to me. And so people are gonna look at the Marcus Mariota line and be like, "Oh, he's pretty good now, and he definitely should be the starting quarterback because he had this good game." My opinion is that he did have a good game, but our cap is so low with him at quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because of how the game played out, we did jump out to an early lead, and we do have a great rushing offense, and our defense is playing well. All those things can lead to Marcus Mariota being successful and not having to throw the ball. 14 pass attempts.
That's all it was.
That's crazy.
And he
that doesn't
13
happen.
And 14,
yeah, 13 and 14.
Anytime that we fall behind in a game, like if we're behind going into the second half, that's not the type of quarterback that's going to be able to bring us back. So he can be a game manager, and I think that Art Smith has figured out like how to make sure Mariota isn't put in situations where he's making too many decisions during a single play. Yep. He's limiting his reads, and it's like his first 2 reads aren't there, take off. I think that's kind of what he's telling them to do, and that's kind of their – I don't know. I think that's how they're protecting the ball. Right.
If you look at the season as a whole right now and our 3 losses, and all 3 of them, we had to try to come back to win the game at the very end. I mean, The Saints one's a tragedy because we just couldn't put it away.
Yeah, that one hurts.
Which was Mariota's fault. Like we all can say that. But losing to the Rams, we tried to come back, but it was a little too late because Mariota he won't always get you back in a game like you're saying. Same with the loss to the Buccaneers. We came back and almost beat them after a 21-point deficit, but we still lost 15-21 because we couldn't quite get over the hump. And that's because, like you said, we're capped. And I'm glad you said earlier, Aaron, that we had the same blurs of the week this week when it comes to like Mariota's play. Because my thing was this too, was it might be blursing that he played so well. Because here's the thing. Can we expect him to do this every week? Absolutely not. Like,
no,
I don't think we can. Like, if he can give you this every week, then I will take it gladly because he can get to the playoffs by doing this. Like, because what Hayden said, he took advantage of what the defense was giving him all day. He didn't try to force any throws. He didn't make many bad reads. I think he had one bad read on the last throw he did, which was an incomplete pass, but like it didn't hurt us or lose us the game. So if this is what he can do every week, then you love it because he can general manage us into games. If our defense plays well enough, then you're going to end up winning a lot of games. However, you are capped. If you're down early, this guy cannot get you back in the game. And he showed he showed that consistently. And I'm just worried because of how well he played today. Because beating the 49ers is a big deal. Like they are, I would say, a Super Bowl contender.
Crazy, we have the same record as them now.
Yeah, no, I mean we're tied for first now within our own division with the Buccaneers. So at 3-3. So I don't know, guys. I was super hyped. This game went way better than I thought it would.
I think everyone is in agreement
really impressed
there.
With the defense. The defense looked incredible. I don't think AJ Terrell will be out long. He did get hurt in this game.
Right.
And so did Casey Hayward, which was sad. And then Isaiah Oliver after that. So we lost 3 quarterbacks.
That really hurts.
But something that I can say about us this year, and it's been a perfect example of Caleb Huntley and Tyler Algier, and now same with our cornerbacks that stepped up right afterwards, Mike Ford having a huge play, is that when someone goes down, someone next man up. Like we've had next man up and we're still performing well. Like I thought when we lost Cordell Patterson, that could be like, well, there goes our offense. Like he was a big deal. And we're failing to reciprocate the production. We're still able to reciprocate the amount of carries. Replicate. Sorry, not reciprocate. Yeah.
Another thing, by the way, that we got to talk about that happened this game. Kyle Pitts scored his first touchdown on American soil as a professional athlete. Pretty stoked about that. Was it just like a little 4-yard slant? Sure, but they all count the same, folks.
Well, Mariota struggles with anything further than 4 yards downfield, so it works out well. And Blake, to your point, one thing I am noticing is a real team mentality, which sounds stupid because there's a lot of teams out there, right? But there's not like me players. Like you don't see our receivers complaining about not throwing the ball and stuff like that. It feels like all the players there have the same goal and they want to win. And you can kind of tell with how like the offensive lineman will go down the field and give an extra push, stuff like that. And like even the way that the defense rallies and the way the special teams is playing as well. So you can tell that like I'm impressed with what Art's done this year. I really am.
Yeah, I want to comment on Art too, his coaching scheme. You said this earlier. He's coaching certain things from Mariota because he understands his quarterback's weaknesses, and I think you're 100% right. And I think it shows that he actually is a good coach. The fact that he's like, you know what, like Mariota can't do what Matt Ryan did last year on these reads. Like he's not going to be able to do that. So we're going to have to change the way we call plays here. We're going to have to I really think the formation where he has 2 fullbacks and a running back behind Mariota in the gun. I don't know what it's called. So it's like Mariota, 2 fullbacks, and then wing T. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's a full house formation.
Full house. Yeah, dude. We've been running a lot of full house.
Yes.
Yeah, Mary Kay and Ashley have been taking the handoff, but it's been nice to see that because it's a creative way to have more blockers, like so we can keep pushing because Art Smith sees the advantage of just getting 2-3 yards every play because you average 3 yards a carry, 4 downs, you're getting a first down. So I don't know.
Yeah, he does see the advantage in it, but it's also a disadvantage that's our only option.
Having to do it.
Yes.
If only we had some kind of hybrid between what Marcus Mariota does and what Matt Ryan does. If only we had that, we could have a real offense.
I don't know.
But God, I mean, I'm looking down the line here a little bit. We have the Bengals next week. Who did they win today?
They won today. Yeah, they came back and beat the Saints.
So
huge fan.
It should be a good game. I've been looking at the two teams. I think we're actually pretty evenly matched. Their offense is better than ours, but our defense is better than theirs, I think. So
I'd agree. Yep.
Like we held the 49ers today to only 50 rushing yards, I'm pretty sure. So like, and Joe Mixon has not looked that good. So if we can stifle their run game and then we take control of the clock again, I think we can have another victory.
Well, their weakness is their offensive line too.
Yes.
They were supposed to have like improved it dramatically because he didn't even have a chance to get the ball off in the Super Bowl last year.
Right.
Yeah. Felt bad for him. But yeah, it has not improved. It's gotten worse, it seems like. So I don't think we'll see Ritter next week, especially after this game. But if you look past that, it goes Bengals, Panthers, Chargers, Panthers again. And so somewhere in that stretch is a great opportunity, I think, to get Ritter in the mix because the Panthers are subpar. They already are on their interim coach. I mean,
they looked a lot better
after
today,
the Panthers. We have the Bears and Commanders. So it's not that bad of a stretch of schedule after the Bengals. Chargers are good, but their defense isn't that good, and that's what I would be looking for, like a weaker defense to let Ritter get settled in before we have any big tests.
I think you could easily go 4-6 in your next 6 games, and
with
like
Mariota or with Ritter.
I think with either, I'm going to say in general with either quarterback. I don't think it matters. I think you go 4-6. Yeah, so you go 4-2. I meant, sorry, your next 6 games, 4-2. So you'd win 4 your next 6. Which, man, that gives you a winning record, which would be crazy. But I think that's where you're at right now. And then after that, you have Steelers, Saints, Ravens. I don't know. I think, today makes you just wonder about the season because, like, to begin with, we said y'all said 5 games, I said 7 games. If you're going to win games like you won today against teams like 49ers, like, you can make the playoffs this year. If you can sustain, like, because that's what you showed. That's what you've shown. Like, you can do that.
Unless something takes a very unfortunate turn for the 49ers, that showed today that you're exactly right.
And I don't think so. Like, I think the 49ers are one of those teams that really
they're better than that 3-3 record, though. I mean,
yes, and because they lost in the monsoon against the Bears that first game, which was like a fluke. And I think they're actually better with Garoppolo than they were with Trey Lance. So.
Oh yeah, same. Garoppolo's actually better than Trey Lance, so that would make sense.
Yeah, no,
I'm not a Trey Lance guy.
Something I want to say today that I noticed about Kyle Pitts is that, like, yes, he's not getting as much production, and I know we all wish he could get more production. We all do. But the thing is, like, if you look at him, he had a huge block that's sold like or helped seal the corner on like a 15-yard gain on a later drive, which helped us score right before the half. And the whole offensive line came started like hitting him, like just great block.
Yeah.
He's starting to remind me of like the Kelce's, the Mark Andrews, the Kittles, where like he's not just a receiving threat, but he also can be a threat inside too.
No, that's
a
good point.
He's using this season to learn how to become a better run blocker, which is making him be on the field 100% of the time averse to like, and I'm saying like, yeah, it sucks. We can't throw it to him more because, man, he still burned a couple people today. He drove a passing interference, but it's good to see that he's not just a one-trick pony, and he can also block.
To me, it's the best of both worlds, and I need to fully eat crow on this because I originally wanted Penei Sewell at that same position, and because of how much we utilize him in the blocking game, it's like he's basically turned out to be Penei Sewell. They can also get you 3 catches for 19 yards.
And a tutty.
So
don't forget that tutty now,
and a tutty once in every.
I'm telling you right now.
I don't know, 23 games.
Everyone who listens to Blurs next year, heavily invest in drafting Falcons offensive players. If we've made a change at quarterback, because I really do think like this team next year, I feel like some of these skilled players like Drake London, Drake London reminds me of young Keenan Allen. I don't know about y'all, but I think he's good. I think he's so good.
He is been better than
and he's big, physical receiver. I don't know. I'm just really.
He can stretch the field. He has good hands.
He's tough on the inside.
Catches.
Yeah.
But hopefully we get him a little bit more volume as the offense changes a bit. But I think the main thing I think about with the Falcons is that they're a capable team. They can make the playoffs, but could you see them making it to like, I don't know, the championship game?
No, this is no.
Sure. But I could see him winning a wild card.
You could, yeah. That's the thing is the Falcons are a team right now that no one wants to play against because it's a hard out. Like. Any team that has to play the Falcons, like every game they've been in this year, they've either won or they've only lost by less than a touchdown. So we're the team no one wants to play because you're going to get the best fight. Now, can we beat any team? Probably not. Like there's several teams I think could still beat us, but I think we'll be in every game we play in. Or we should.
No, I mean, and it's great that we are able to play up to the competition that we're facing. My question is, at the beginning of this year, a lot of people thought we were punting and that we are trying to get an early round quarterback. We find ourselves in purgatory now.
We do.
It feels like the team's going for it to me.
If
we go for it and either, I don't know, if we miss or if we get an early boot from the playoffs, that leaves us with not a very high draft spot for a quarterback.
Right.
Might leave us with Mariota
but
as a quarterback again next season.
I think if we say we keep winning, say we go 4-2 in these next 6 games, and Mariota holds on to the starting position, and you make a playoff or something like that, I think next year though, even with maybe not a top drop pick, you can still get a quarterback worth taking in the first round. Like if you've looked, especially in the college football, like I've been more impressed with like Holden Hooker, what's his name for Tennessee?
Hendon Hooker, yeah.
Hayden Hooker. Like there are other quarterbacks besides just the top 2 that I think are worth taking in the first round. So if for some reason Ritter hasn't cracked the starting rotation by the end of this year, I don't think he will next year either. Like I don't think he's your dude.
You think there's just a reason for it?
Yeah, there's a reason. Like if he never breaks never passes Mariota, then I just think that he's probably not the guy. Unless Mariota goes Super Saiyan for the rest of the year. Like say this game was like the starting of him taking off and he actually it blows everyone's expectations, which that's a miracle. That's not going to happen.
Did he take off or did we just contain the chaos that is Marcus Mariota?
And I think you're right, but I think you're 100% correct. But for Mariota, this was incredible for him. This was his best game as a Falcon. Yeah. So if he can sustain this and have games where we're winning by 2 tutties every week, then it's going Super Saiyan in some way. I mean, it's not Geno Smith, but
he's no Geno.
He knows Geno Smith.
God, who saw that coming?
Oh my God, he's better than Russ.
Geno would tell you.
It's not you. That's the biggest freezing take that we've had, I guess.
Oh yeah, I've had some bad takes.
That's the worst one though.
That's the thing about.
That's the worst one though.
Oh yeah. All right. Did you think Russ was going to be this bad?
No,
this
bad?
No
idea. But
it looks like he fell off a freaking cliff, and then they're like, oh, he strained his pec, like in week 4, and people were like, oh, he's been hurt. I was like, for a week, yeah,
right.
But he was pretty bad before that.
Yeah. I think they released that before the week 5 game. It was like they hadn't even played week 5 game yet. And then they were like, hey, he got hurt way back in week 4.
I didn't know that the coach was god awful.
Nah, dude, you're fine, man. It wasn't even that bad of a take.
That's the thing about having takes and being out there in the public eye a little bit is you're gonna have to eat some a little bit, and I am.
Definitely. And when the Falcons win 7 games, y'all can eat that one too.
Oh God, I will say I agree that you can get a good first-round quarterback still. Look at Lamar Jackson. He was drafted with the last pick of the first round. Who is the other quarterback that year that's
Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold.
They all went early.
Yeah, they went early.
Josh
Rosen. Josh Allen
went 16th or something like that, right?
Yeah. So
crazy Lamar and Josh went that far after those
Rosen went 10th, I think, overall. So that's my thing is I think you could still get a startable quarterback, especially when you look around the league and teams ahead of us that would need a quarterback. Because Kenny Pickett, Pittsburgh won't need a quarterback. Carolina drafted their quarterback, Matt Corral, hopefully. So I don't know. It just will really depend on what the landscape looks like come draft day. But I think you can still get a quarterback and still try this year. I like to see us trying because it's easier to replace a quarterback on a winning team and do better than it is for you to establish a winning team. I don't know.
It's a culture thing, and I
think
we're firmly in the middle now, right? We're not a bottom tier team, that's for sure. But there are 4 or 5 teams at the top that are substantially better, I think.
Yeah.
And they are more than every other team in the NFL too. So that's not just a Falcons thing. That's you can just tell with your eyeballs that hey, they're really fucking good, and we're not going to be able to touch them. So
the
Bills,
Bills,
Eagles, I would include in that, and the Chiefs. Those 3 for sure.
Yeah.
Although the Bucks are very high on that list too, and it feels like if we had a quarterback that opened up the passing game a little bit and gave us that option, that could I don't know, provide an ascension.
You're preaching to the choir, bro.
Yes,
that's what we all feel that way on Blurs. It does. It does suck. It does. But I will say,
we want Ritter to come through. What do you guys think about the strategy then? If he could possibly be ready, like, would that make sense that we start him against the Panthers? We have two of our next 4 games against the Panthers.
I think it does make sense, and I think really what's going to be the telling sign will be this Bengals game, because again, Mariota is going to have to play well in order for us to be the Bengals. If Mariota play well, we lose that game. So if say the Bengals come out there and just whoop us next week, and it's because of turnovers, because of Mariota interceptions or fumbles, like I could see Ritter starting the Panthers game, or if we go out there and lose the Bengals and then Panthers, like you gotta, I don't know. It's either going to take us getting whooped by one of these good teams or us losing to one of the teams we should beat. Like, I think we should beat the Panthers both times. I just do. I feel like we're better than them.
100%.
And if for some reason we lose one of those games, especially in an embarrassing fashion or because of Mariota, we got to replace them, because that's a lesser.
No, I agree with that for sure.
Same with the Bears. Same with the Commanders.
If we go through that at that point too, and Mariota is still in, then I think it's safe to make the assumption Ritter's not going to ever be the guy.
He's just not good enough. No,
he's not ever going to be the guy.
Yeah. Which sucks to say, but I mean, you took him in the 3rd round, and you took a risk. It was a risk worth taking. So who knows? Who knows? And maybe he is the guy. Like we'll find out. I just think I hate to. This is a victory Sunday, and we're talking about replacing the quarterback just once. But like that's the good thing though, about a victory Sunday is that you don't have to worry about the crap that just happened because you won, and you won big time.
We're all thrilled.
Yeah. So my last couple of comments before we move on from this was just. Huntley and Algier run strong. They run like a madman. Like they remind me of Michael Turner. Like they're not as good as him, but just the way that Michael Turner always got positive yards every time he touched the ball. They're the same way. Like even if it's only 1 or 2 yards, they'll fight to that first contact to get past the line of scrimmage again, which is, I don't know. It's something you want in your offense or your
Huntley is running like a guy that wants to stay on the roster when CP gets back.
Yeah. Yes. He's explosive.
A madman. No, not thinking about bodily harm at all. He's just going after it, and that's what you want to see from your running back. Shout out CTE. But,
wow.
I agree. They look good.
He runs like a cannonball. But I don't know. I feel really good. I think going into the Bengals game, I think we can take advantage of some matchups. I think we run the ball well against them, and I'm expecting another close game. I think closer than the 49ers. I think the Bengals offense is better than that. And Joe Burrow's just going to give them a chance. So I'd say like you're going to see like another 31-27 kind of game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons won. I wouldn't. Like now going into the next game, I can't tell you who's going to win.
I think Aaron and I have been wrong like every game, I think.
Yeah, just about.
I'm going to say
it's in Cincy.
I'm going to say Falcons lose to the Bengals. I'm going to say the Bengals have been getting on the right track. They just turned around. They've won, I think, a couple straight now. They beat the Saints. No, they lost to the Ravens, actually. You know what? Never mind. They lose. They're going to keep their tradition of win-loss. Falcons win, upsetting the Bengals.
In Cincy, all right.
In Cincy, yep.
In the jungle.
I'm actually going to go Falcons win as well. Crazy. I never thought I'd say it. But,
man. I think I'm going to... go ahead. Finish.
Well, I was just gonna say I don't believe that. I don't believe in Cincinnati. I think that they
doesn't exist. Yeah. City is not real.
I've never met anyone from there. So.
I've never been a Cincinnati guy.
Never been there.
You can't prove to me it's not just a part of Kentucky. All right, you can't. So, no, I mean, and that weird chili thing they do. What is that? They sometimes
sounds like something
brownies.
Made up to me.
It does. Oh, hey, do you want this bed of spaghetti noodles with chili and brownies on it?
Brownies?
What?
They put brownies?
Yeah, that's like a variation of it. You can put brownies in the chili. Like make them sweet.
Don't like that.
Basically, my point is they deserve to lose everything.
I bet people from Ohio think that's like the same thing as chicken and waffles, and by God, it is certain.
Not. No, it's not at all. Especially, I mean, maybe like if someone made some at-home Skyline chili, but the actual restaurant chain, Skyline Chili, that's like if Taco Bell served a bed of spaghetti noodles with chili and cheese. All right, that's what that is. That's what you're eating up there. All right. So anyway, sorry, enough of the rant on that.
We're off base.
But yeah, I don't believe in Cincinnati. I believe that they had.
After all that, you still don't believe in them.
I still don't believe in them.
All right.
They're a fake town. But my point is,
never will.
yeah, no. My point is though, I believe that last year's Cincinnati Bengals were the 2016 Falcons.
Lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, they were a good
Great
team,
offense.
but with a great offense. And by the way, I'm saying that in that they're similar into how their season played out.
Right.
That offense that the Bengals had last year doesn't touch the Falcons offense
No.
from that Super Bowl run.
Oh hell no.
But still the same thing. They did it despite a lot of big flaws, and they never. I don't think they'll be able to get back to that anytime.
They've
soon.
given up a huge 4.8 yards a carry this year. So
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
that's good for
That
our
matches
offensive
up
line.
well.
absolutely.
I'll quadruple down on the Falcons losing. Not to be Debbie Downer. Shout out. Not that you're a downer, my mother-in-law Debbie. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to cut this.
Shout out Debbie the Doubter.
It just came out wrong, Debbie. I swear to God.
Switch with problems.
Okay, not to be a Debbie Downer, but
Oh, we doubt you, Debbie.
He doubled down on the Debbie Downer.
I think what's going to happen, the game script isn't going to line up with this game, and I think if the Bengals get out to an early lead, it'll be an example of us not being able to get back in the game.
We're in
They-
trouble.
They
then,
got
yeah.
us at the QB spot.
If we beat the Bengals, do we make the playoffs? Could you call it right then?
No, I don't think you could do anything of the nature.
Okay. I was wondering. We're not that
Yeah,
good.
if we go to 4-3, no, because you start calling it then. The next thing you know, you're gonna be 4-7.
Yeah,
That's
you're
right.
not wrong.
We got to start proving we can beat teams in our own division,
True.
which is sad, but
It is
true.
sad.
That is sad. Not a great division.
No, we just went and beat the best team in some other division.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, I mean that's all I have about the Falcons. Victory Sunday. Happy day.
Yes. Hayden, did you just look into the sun over there? My
That's what it feels
goodness.
like.
Yeah.
Ugh. Well,
All
it
right,
got
so-
super dark here, like while we're filming. So
Yeah, I was wondering if it started raining over there. Or
sun's getting real low, big guy.
Uh-oh.
The sun exploded right there. Just
So what if? All right, so we're moving on to the dogs.
the dogs. Yeah, I'm down.
Oof.
Woof. All right, so let's get the dogs segment started. First off, I want to start off before we talk about the game or any other things in college football. Georgia actually got a big recruitment boost today. Actually, I think 2 hours
Heyo.
ago. Our number one quarterback prospect as of the recording of this podcast for the class of 2024, Ryan Puglisi, I believe is how you pronounce it, committed today. He committed to UGA, so he's a
Plug
4-star.
Puglisi.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, he's a 4-star out of Avon, Connecticut, which is a place I've never heard of. And get this, he plays for a wild high school name, or a wildly named high school, which is Avon Old Farms. That's the name.
What's it
Of-
called?
That's the
Avon?
mascot.
No, it's like that's the name of the high school. They're the Avon Old Farms, and then whatever their mascot is.
Okay, well we gotta know what the mascot is now.
Okay.
I'll look
all
it
right,
up.
Fair. All right, look it up. Avon Old Farms in Avon, Connecticut. Anyway, yeah, so he's a 4-star out of
The
there.
winged beaver.
The winged beaver.
What? Are you serious?
Hell yeah. He plays for
That's
the Avon
awesome.
Old Farms Winged Beavers.
Old Farmer members.
Yes. All right, yeah. So congrats to Ryan to
This is a boarding school.
committing to the best
Oh, so he's trouble.
school he
is what
could
I'm
have.
hearing.
So he's trouble.
Send him to boarding school.
I mean, but wouldn't it just be like it's probably like a
You said Connecticut, right?
yeah, I did.
Yep. It's a boarding school, Connecticut. Private boarding school.
Trouble.
It's
boy.
probably like a prep school for athletes.
Yeah.
It probably
the wing,
is. Yeah.
The winged beavers.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of their things says brotherhood, scholarship, integrity, sportsmanship.
Hell yeah. All right.
Have you
So
ever
yeah,
seen a winged beaver that wasn't any of those things?
true. I never have.
Never have.
I never have. Eh?
Probably never will.
So let's get to the game. It was what Hayden wanted to see last week against a Vanderbilt
Dogs.
team that's probably relatively comparable to that Auburn team. I think this is a better Vanderbilt team than in years past, and like not even close to an Auburn team we've seen in the past this year. So, yeah, we went out. We beat them 55-0. Didn't give up a touchdown. We shut out an SEC opponent. First week back, ranked number 1, and this is what we do. We just win by 55 and go to 7-0 and 4-0 in the conference. But get right game for the passing game. So let me tell y'all a couple stat lines here. Stetson looked much better. Looked much more polished. He wasn't missing guys. He went 24 of 30 for 289, 2 touchdowns and 0 picks. But also we were able to pull him so early that Carson Beck went 8 for 11 for 98 yards, wow. 2 touchdowns and 0 picks. And so as a team, we actually threw the ball 41 times, completed 32 of those for 387, 4 touchdowns and no picks. So that is more of what we were accustomed to seeing in the
This is just a
game.
beatdown, just an absolute beatdown.
And we just had the ball a lot, to be honest with you. We ran it 38 times as well for just under 200 yards. We ran it for 192. So yeah, it was just a complete and total beatdown, which is what you want at home versus Vanderbilt, especially a Vanderbilt team that, like I said, I can't remember the last time we played a Vanderbilt team that didn't have a losing record coming into the game. And
we had the ball for like 2/3 of the game, 39 minutes.
Right, exactly. And
I do have a comment though about the Auburn Tigers. They actually put up a good game against Ole Miss.
That was thank you. No, I was actually going to lead into that because of how split we were on our take from last week. Auburn went out there and they still lost by 2 touchdowns, but they were playing number 9 Ole Miss, I believe, at Ole Miss. And the final score was 48-34. I mean, they put up 34 on the 9th ranked team. So I don't know, that makes our performance from last week, I think, look a little bit better.
For sure.
But that's not really what we're here to talk about. So we spread the ball around on the ground a lot too, given that Kendall Milton missed this game. We all know that he got hurt against Auburn. And our leading rusher was Dajon Edwards once again, but he didn't even crack 50 yards on the ground. We let 7 different guys tote the rock against Vanderbilt, and we spread the carries around a lot too. It was like 10 carries for Edwards, 9 for Kenny, 8 for Branson Robinson, and then Stetson actually carried it 6 times as well. They did kind of what we were talking about, maybe getting him some more
involved
designed runs, and they did that. They did that early on, and it went well. That's really what you wanted to see Georgia go and do, like I said, against Vanderbilt. Do you guys have anything to add as far as that performance? Because
go
ahead.
I think what it showed, and I mean, I think the Auburn game showed this too, but this to a bigger extent was that when we play efficient football and you're not turning the ball over, like good things happen.
Exactly.
Because that's what it comes down to, is just taking care of the football, because we have the skill to beat basically anyone we play.
Right.
Even like, this is a little off topic, but looking at Tennessee beating Alabama, like we already knew Alabama's defense was more of a question mark this year than years past. And I think our defense is better than Alabama's defense. So I think we were going to be able to hold Tennessee better than they were able to. So I don't know, if we can just play turnover-free football, we're going to beat anybody.
Yeah.
It's sometimes harder to do, but I don't think any defense we play for the rest of the year is going to scare us quite like,
no,
I don't know.
Tennessee is good, but their
defense is not good though.
I was about to say it's their offense that scares you, Tennessee. Not that their defense can't make plays, but we just saw them in a shootout win 52-49. So they're, you know what I mean? So but one thing I kind of wanted to bring up to bridge to last week's talk was also I just love seeing where the UGA program is right now, and sometimes that burns us in expectations and stuff. Yeah. But think about it. When we were growing up and watching Mark Richt teams and stuff like that, and we were good, but can you ever recall a time where in a 2-game SEC stretch, regardless of opponent, but in a 2-game SEC stretch, we outscored 2 SEC opponents 97-10 in back-to-back combined and back-to-back?
No, this win versus Vanderbilt probably would have been like 21-18 or something like that.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what would have happened. And we would have gotten up by like 21 early.
Yeah.
And then Vanderbilt would have slowly got back into the game.
I love that you brought this up, because when I was listening to the podcast last week, which y'all did a phenomenal job and great. I don't know why you're coming for my seat so hard, but back off, man. You're too damn funny. But no, listening to the podcast, I thought the same thing. Like y'all were talking about it, and you were like, y'all were saying some not bad things about Georgia, but just like talking about the problems we had still. And it's like, man, we're talking about problems in a game where we won 42-10 against Auburn. Like, like when did we
Times
ever?
have changed.
And they've changed so
very
much.
Changed.
It's
So much for the good.
world. The expectations are just totally different. So,
but that's what we wanted. That's why we hired Kirby Smart, and
Yes.
it worked out
Oh, yeah.
better than anyone could have hoped.
and some people are worried that we
Or
lose
as good, at
to
least.
Florida. But I'm be honest with you, I think the Dogs are ready for the rest of the season, and Kirby, especially against ranked opponents, besides ones coached by, I know Florida's not, but against Tennessee, Mississippi State, and Kentucky, Kirby, besides teams coached by Nick Saban, beats up pretty badly unranked teams. So I just think we're gonna, like we said in the beginning of the season, I think we're gonna win the rest of our games.
So speaking of that, we've got a bye week next week.
Yep.
And that leads into the Florida game,
Bye.
which will always be at 3:30 on CBS for probably the end of time.
And the Tennessee
And-
Georgia one will also be 3:30, is what I've heard.
You think so? I hope
only-
they option it to a night game, but I get that that's probably going to be a CBS game, and they don't do those.
Yep. I think what I read was CBS only gets one night game on the year, and the one they
Yeah.
picked prior to the year starting was Alabama A&M
God, stupid idiots.
because of like the Nick Saban. What's their
I get
coach
it.
at A&M?
Jimbo.
Jimbo. They had that beef between
Oh,
in the
Jimbo.
offseason. Yeah.
Really wish I had
Yes.
watched this past game because of how much I've complained about the past game, and now
And then-
Oh, it was
Like,
awesome.
obviously
go out and-
it was going on the same time as the Braves game. The Braves game was
Right.
going quite poorly, and then I was kind of just out of it. Like
that makes sense.
I was blacked out in anger and disappointment. But looking ahead, so we got the bye week this week, then Florida, and then Tennessee. Tennessee looks really freaking good. They beat.
do.
Trying to say obviously less. They beat Alabama.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so they were able
job.
to beat Alabama on that weird last second field goal. I don't know if you guys saw the actual field goal ended up like in the river in Knoxville, which is hilarious because the students hauled it over there. But I mean, how do you guys think we match up with Tennessee? Not to overlook Florida, of course, but
Oh, we should overlook them.
I can say of course, but not obviously.
Yeah.
Naturally.
No, I think that we match up really well against Florida. I don't think that game will be. I think it'll be our the most difficult game we've had in a few weeks. But
Kent
Florida's, yeah, right. But Florida's 4-3. Let's be honest, not a great start to the Billy Napier reign down there. I mean, they did beat who was it? Did they beat Utah? They beat Utah.
They beat
in week
Utah
one,
opening
right?
week, which was an impressive win.
It was
yes.
impressive at that time, but yeah,
Hit 'em with
it
it.
has slowly become less and less impressive as they've lost 3 games over their next.
I mean, really,
6.
their bad loss this year, really, besides Kentucky, which isn't a horrible loss because Kentucky's a good team, is the LSU loss.
Yeah. Oh wait, where's that?
Because they only lost by
talking
5
about
points to
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah,
We're talking about Florida. We're talking about Florida.
Wait, no.
I was skipping over Florida to talk about Tennessee.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to talk. Yeah, I brought up.
Oh.
Florida,
Guys
but-
brought up Florida
But yes,
I think it's important that it's a home game, personally.
against Tennessee. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Yes.
against Tennessee. Yes, I think it's. I think
hugely important. I would hate to go into Knoxville.
No, I would too. And if you look at Tennessee, like when they play good teams this year, they've been really close games. Like they beat LSU, but LSU's not been good. Like
No.
they just haven't been. So, but if you look at to Florida, Pittsburgh, and Alabama, they won each one of those games by 1 score.
They did.
So I don't know. I feel like the Dogs
just
are
gonna be a
still the
big
big
test.
brother.
Oh, they absolutely are.
So,
But,
I have a hot take. I put it in the Discord, and I'm gonna say it, and these guys are gonna disown me.
Uh-oh.
If we lose to Tennessee, it's not the worst thing. I'll say
No,
it.
I
agree.
don't- I
No,
agree with that.
actually, I'm not going to
Because-
that. I totally get it.
If that is UGA's only loss, there's no doubt they will still be in the playoff, in my opinion. And that's worked out in Alabama's favor in the past, where they've skipped
Oh,
the
It,
SEC
yeah.
it
championship.
has, but the problem is, and I see where you're going with it, but the problem is there's a third team now that's worked out for Alabama, and it's also worked out for Georgia in the past, where, there, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't see us necessarily going to the playoffs if Tennessee beats us, Tennessee meets Alabama in the SEC championship, Alabama beats Tennessee. Georgia doesn't get in my opinion.
Yeah, because then Tennessee gets
Tennessee
in over.
would be the other
Yeah,
one.
you still need to win because Tennessee has Tennessee would have the tiebreaker over
because
you.
there can't be 3 in, is what you're
right.
saying.
There can't be 3 in,
and you're also discrediting Ole Miss too.
If Tennessee beats Georgia, then you need Alabama to lose a second time.
Right. To Tennessee.
Right.
Okay.
There's also Ole Miss.
But it's a lot harder to beat the same team twice as we
saw last year.
It happens almost every year now.
And there's also Ole Miss that could also win out. And so that's the thing. Is like I don't see it happening either, but you need to win. Like I would not.
Yeah, but it's just like Tennessee has done a good job showing that they might actually be on the caliber of Alabama and Georgia now. Which I mean,
difficult. Are they on our caliber?
Well, yeah.
Trajectory. They're on the right
beat
trajectory.
Alabama. They're on.
Or do they just?
Yeah, I just mean this year specifically.
Okay.
Ole Miss has done no such thing. I mean, just go look at them giving up 34 points to Auburn. I mean, they're not. They
gave up 28 points to Vanderbilt. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. So, and granted, is Lane Kiffin known for having defensive?
But Tennessee's the same way. Tennessee's defense isn't that good either.
No, they're not. But they're better than Ole Miss's. And I want to point out this stretch here. That who would have thought this was the stretch going into the year? I don't think we did. We did highlight Tennessee. We as a pod highlight Tennessee and South Carolina as trap games. Mm-hmm. Oh, how the Tennessee one has turned from a trap game into just in a top 5 matchup.
Powerhouse.
Yeah, it actually might be the highest ranked opponent Georgia's hosted in
probably since Alabama.
Since Alabama
a while ago.
Yep.
But then we immediately follow that up, regardless of how it goes, with going to 16th ranked Mississippi State. Hopefully, and they might be even higher ranked by the time
they're 24th now. I thought.
Well, what I'm looking at they were 16th going into this week.
Oh, gotcha.
I believe, right?
I just know they're 24 right now, is what I see.
Did they? Because they lost, didn't they?
Yeah, I believe. They lost to Kentucky.
Right. So
and they play Alabama this week.
Yeah. So maybe they won't be higher than that. But either way, Mississippi State's good, and then Kentucky's still good too.
No, for sure. And Mississippi State's not a bad opponent either.
There's actually not a team left on our schedule with a losing record. Which makes sense when you look at the SEC games. But who knew that we could put Georgia Tech in that category? Yeah, they're 3-3. Get this, folks.
They've won every game.
They won both games since firing their head coach.
No, all 3.
And AD.
Two.
Just two.
Yeah. You're right.
They had a bye week yesterday.
Yep.
But get this though. Georgia Tech is, especially given who they beat, the Pitt win was impressive. Perhaps the Duke win was even more impressive though, because Pitt and Duke were the 2 biggest opponents they had standing in front of them in the standings of the ACC. Georgia Tech finds themselves currently in 2nd place in the Coastal Division behind
UNC.
How crazy is that? Yeah, Georgia Tech actually has an opportunity to win the ACC Coastal and face Clemson in the.
And they play North Carolina. They could steal it on November 19th if they win out. That'd be crazy.
It would be. And you know what? I sold a team short when I said that they would play Clemson if they went. They might not. Syracuse, folks, is undefeated.
Which Syracuse always gives Clemson a run for their money, too.
Yeah, so Syracuse and Clemson are going to meet later on. They're both undefeated. Clemson's got an inflated ranking of number 4. Who knows where that'll go now? But anyway,
wow.
I think the rankings are already out. I am not seeing them. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I got on college football this week. UGA get right game accomplished. Heading into a bye week, no less.
Clemson's 5.
Okay, they're 5 now. All right, cool. Where did Tennessee go?
Tennessee's 3.
There it is. That's perfect. And that makes sense.
Ohio State 2, Michigan 4.
And there's a very real chance that Ohio State loses to somebody over there. They're always good to lose on any week at any time.
Any given Saturday.
So how cool would it be if on November 5th they line up between the hedges for a 1v2 matchup? Hayden, what kind of face is that? Are you doing a De Niro?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
That was. I mean, that was
like
I'm
that.
being silly because I didn't
like
watch college football this past weekend.
I
so.
see. Yeah. Can I
You're
hear
a bad
1,000?
dude, man.
Huh? Yeah. All right. Anyway, Yeah, so that's it on college football,
No,
folks. I guess that's
it's because I'm a really good baseball fan.
That's it.
Yeah, whatever,
Yes.
dude.
Or a sore
Hey,
loser,
whatever,
one of the
dude.
two.
Whatever,
Friggin'
dude.
nerd.
So, anyways, guys, thank you for listening to Blurst. I feel like, real quick though, we will be having a bonus episode that'll come out probably Wednesday morning. I think is what we're saying. We'll record it either Monday.
What's it about?
What's
Yeah.
it about? It's about the Atlanta Hawks. So
Let's go.
we're
Who's
gonna
going to talk about it?
me and are either one of you going to be in it? It might just be me if no one else can make it. But
One or if not both of us will be there with you.
I will not be able to do anything but prompt you questions, but I'll learn a lot.
Hey,
so
no, that's what's
that's
important.
good.
Hopefully everyone will learn. We'll talk about the Hawks. We'll look at the schedule. We'll look at the rankings in the East. We'll talk about how we think the East will settle out, what players we have expectations for, what players we need to do in order for us to get our best result, and where we might finish this season. So
It's exciting.
I'm excited.
It's our first basketball deep dive, really.
Yeah, since the draft.
It
So
is.
I've been itching to talk about
Itch.
Hawks again. So
When is you may have just said it. I had a distraction.
Wednesday
but-
night is
Wednesday night against who?
Yeah, I believe it is the Houston Rockets.
And we're talking real bona fide basketball. We're talking
Real
one
basketball.
of 82, right?
Yeah, real basketball. And also,
Hell yeah.
just so everyone to know, in the preseason, we did play the Bucks twice over in Abu Dhabi. We beat them both times.
Yeah.
Smacked them both times. So
And then we kind of played with some lineups and took some folks out.
yeah,
here and there, I think.
It's
I think-
preseason.
Well, yeah, but I felt like the first two preseason games looked dress rehearsally, and that every game after that,
Oh, they played younger guys.
they kind of played
were
younger
yes,
guys. They
yes.
rested Trey or they rested DeJounte and stuff
Yep.
like that.
No, 100%. And so yeah, we'll get into the preseason and what we think about it and who performed well, who didn't, what's our expectations for the season, all of that. I'm super excited. So
Me too.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
So anyways, guys, thank you for listening to Blurs. Please, if it's your first time listening, share us, like the podcast, subscribe, send it to your friends, ask your parents to listen.
Check us out on TikTok.
If you don't like it, then I don't know, man. Figure it out. We're likable.
Figure out,
Yeah.
get your
Whoa,
priorities
don't tell
straight.
Yeah.
Just don't leave a review. Don't leave a review. No,
No,
don't leave any stars if you don't like it.
No, leave 5 stars. Even if you don't like it, leave 5 stars and say, you know what? Maybe I didn't like this, but someone else could. Because we're enjoyable.
Tell your
group of
friends
guys.
that have good taste.
We're
about it.
enjoyable as shit. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen up, folks.
This is
All right.
freaking.
We aren't the
Blurs,
problem.
man.
You're the problem.
Yeah.
You understand that? Okay.
And
Yeah, this
here,
is
here
A
at
and B
Blurs, we handle
conversation.
rejection appropriately.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so don't ever listen to us again. You hear
Yeah.
us?
We do what white
Whoa,
men have
whoa,
always
whoa, whoa,
done.
whoa, whoa.
Handle
Well,
that right.
Yeah, right. Just we hate
Yeah.
rejection.
Yes.
Yes. Anyways, thank you all for listening to us.
Uh-huh.
Oh, is that it?
That out, right?
Go on.
We're still going. Yeah, thanks to everybody. Thanks to Oh No for our music. Check out our link tree for more ish that we do. Yeah, we'll be around later this week.
Peace.
Later.